Greetings everyone, this is Denise again with Denise's Dancing Paintbrush and doing another collage. This one I've sped up really fast because it took a long time. The story is for one of the pages of my children's book, my alphabet book. This is L for the Lute Player. In the story, this girl dresses up like a boy in order to fool the king of a foreign kingdom into releasing their king. She manages to save the king by dressing up like a boy and being an entertainer, a lute player. I didn't make her look too masculine. She still looks quite feminine to me, but I wanted her to look like a girl pretending to be a boy. And because this took so long with all the details, I sped it up quite fast. So you'll see pieces just flying on. You can see that I'm using photographs from magazines, from advertisements, from old calendars, and even some old Avon catalogs. Anything that would have just the right color and the right texture. Even some circulars with nice shiny paper I would utilize. Sometimes I have to pull out my X-Acto knife and cut a piece just right to fit. There's my lute. Also, what I often do is put pieces down, I'll glue them on, I think it's the right color and value, and then later I'll look at it and decide, no, it's not working, and I'll just glue a piece over the top of it, a different color, different value. And I've done that several times with the girl's face, with her hand, and on several things on her cape she's wearing, her tunic. It's interesting to me when I speed it up so fast and things just start flying onto the onto the paper. I find it fascinating myself. This poncho-like thing has got quite a bit of colors and patterns, so I had to put a base color down, some shadows and wrinkles, and then I could start putting the colors on top of it. I end up crowding myself with my own pieces of paper. So you can see I decided that the values on the face weren't right, and she needed to have a much brighter forehead and cheeks because the sunlight's supposed to be shining quite brightly. So I changed that to nearly white and then put these orangey colors on her face. And you see the tan that I've picked, I thought it worked at the time. Later I'm going to change it. It's just too, I don't know, it's almost a dirty color, not a fleshy color. So I don't like it. In the end, I'm going to change that. Her eyes are sort of squinty because she's smiling. And then I'm going to start putting on these little bitty pieces for the pattern on her poncho. It almost looks like I'm indecisive because I'll put a piece there, take it away, and put it back. What I'm doing is I'm sort of measuring to make sure it looks right and fits, and also seeing if the color value is going to work before I glue it down. And even when I do that, I'll still change my mind later sometimes. Also, I take frequent breaks because my hand gets quite tired with these little tweezers. The carpal tunnel, just too much. Just means I've got to take more breaks than I would like to take. See, now the patterns are starting to shape up quite nicely. I think one of my favorite things to do after I've got all of the form and the patterns and the colors down, and I think it's just about done, I hang it up on my wall for about, a day or two, at least one, and just stare at it, stand back and stare at it. The whole thing about collage is that you're really so close up to the piece, it becomes overwhelming. You're seeing all the teeny little pieces and not the overall picture. But when you stand back, you start to see the overall picture and what you might have missed and what needs to be fixed. And that's when I start seeing things I hadn't seen before. One is that when I stand back, I thought this picture was going to work just fine on its own, no background needed for the page. But I decided, after I put her all together, that she needed more. She was just floating on a white nothing. And I gave her a little, sort of a plank or a board to sit on, and then decided she needed some flowers in the background. We needed some more color, more purple. And also, you see the pinks. I used so much pink on this drape that I've got over her arms. I decided it just wasn't working for me and needed to put red in it to make it match more of her hat. Got the orangey pieces for her fingers and her hands. Also, you can see what I'm using down there in the left-hand corner. I've got a jar of rubber cement. That's what I'm using to glue these pieces down, because it won't buckle, it won't make the papers curl up or anything, lays nice and flat. I think the biggest problem with it is that it will age. See, so you can see I got rid of those little tan pieces and I put orange and a burgundy red on her cheeks to make a glow coming up from the cape she's wearing, and also make the sunlight look much brighter. And here are the purple flowers I've decided to put in the background. I just used a hole punch to make the little dots and a flower punch that just punches the flowers out of sort of a purple magazine page. Oh, and a calendar. I remember one of the purples I used is from a calendar of a purple flower, so it's got whites and it's got a little green and it's got lots of deep blue and purple. And that's what I used for my little flowers. The base of the flowers are torn so that they look very, well, non-uniform. That's what I wanted, something that wasn't all the same size. And then I cut the little leaves and glued them at random. Usually I like to have these pieces already, background pieces done before I put the foreground on, because it's kind of hard to work around the foreground and not make any of the background go over it. But yeah, in this case, it is what it is. I had to decide at the last minute it needed more in the background. In the end, I really like how the little flowers worked for offsetting all the roundness going on with the lute, the face, and the shapes that her arms are making. We've got these little cone-shaped flowers behind her. More dots, more flowers. We're nearly there. Just a few more to go. You can see up in the corner I have a purple basket, because I'm constantly cutting and tearing little pieces, and I don't want to get the pieces that I've torn off that are rubbish confused with the pieces that I'm actually going to glue on. So I throw it in the little box and throw the box full of junk pieces away later. I love that this uses up magazines that would otherwise be filling up some landfill somewhere. I'm recycling, repurposing, rather than contributing to the carbon footprint, I guess. And this makes me feel very good about myself. The bad thing is that magazines are not usually archival quality, and therefore they will age. They will turn yellow with age. But this is for a children's book, and it will be the digital and printed copy everyone will remember. Here's my finished piece. This is how it will look in the book. You can see I changed her hand, both hands, somewhat, so that it would look more natural. I put her on a little piece of a wood, a platform, and it is L for the Lute Player. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.